Hey, how's it going, guys? It's the Lamaster here, and welcome back to another Rocket League video. And in this one, guys, I'm going to be walking you through the very confusing game mode of Dropshot in Rocket League. That's right, guys. So for some reason you missed my previous video or all of the announcements going around, Dropshot is the brand new game mode coming to Rocket League on March 22nd, and it is honestly insane. So we did get a trailer for this game mode, but even if you've watched that trailer, the game mode itself, the gameplay, all of that is honestly just insanely confusing. But today I'm going to be walking you guys through it and show you guys the rules, every little thing about this game mode, because I did manage to find an actual source from Psyonix that wasn't promoted that much, so it's kind of hidden, but it explains a ton of stuff to how this game mode works. Now, along with that, we will also be going through a bunch of little secrets in the trailer itself, such as boosts, wheels, stuff like that, and overall it's just going to be a really fun video. But anyways, as always, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like down below, and without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, guys, so starting it right off with how this game mode works, and then of course we'll get into the secret stuff about the trailer later on. But starting it off with the fairly obvious things about this game mode, one of the really clear things is that the goal or area in which you score is no longer on the side, it's in the ground itself. So with that being said, the walls that go around the map are completely sealed. There's no way to score on there like in the normal mode, but instead you actually score by putting the ball through the floor. Now of course the floor isn't open all of the time, and you've probably already figured this out from the trailer itself, but there's these tiles that when hit with the ball kind of change, and when you finally hit them enough, they break and you're allowed to score through those openings. So specifically with those tiles, there are actually 3 phases that they can be in. The first of which is obviously the non-activated phase. This is just how they start out in the beginning of the game. However, once you hit one of these tiles with the ball, it goes into the second phase, which is technically called the activated phase, and this simply means when you hit that tile for the second time, it will break and open up an area to score through. So to put it simply, you pretty much have to hit an area 3 times in order to score, with the first hit activating the tile, then the second hit breaking that tile, and then finally with the third hit, if you get it through the space where that tile was, you will end up scoring and get your team a point. Now it is important to know that there are separate sides for these tiles, so in order to get a point for your team, you will need to keep it on the opponent's side and break those tiles and score through there. So it's not like if you break a tile, it becomes your tile, so to say. You actually have to keep the ball on the opponent's side and make sure that it doesn't go over to yours. Now along with this, once the tiles break, you cannot fall through them with your car. And you can see this really clearly in this clip right here, where the cars are driving over that open area, and you can see that it really creates this unique form of defense, because instead of just guarding a net, you actually have to sit on top of these openings and try and keep the ball off the ground so that you can clear it back to a safe spot. So that in itself is definitely going to be really interesting, and I imagine it's going to be really freaking tough, especially when you get those giant openings, because you essentially have to like dribble the ball on top of your car to get it out of a dangerous area. So we'll definitely have to see how that plays out. But speaking of getting giant openings, one of the more important and kind of confusing things about this game mode is the new statistic damage. So this statistic directly affects how many tiles you can activate or break with a single hit. Now you may be thinking that damage is directly caused by how much power you put on the ball, but instead it is actually affected by how many times the ball is hit in the air before it comes back down and hits a tile. So with this, there are actually 3 phases that the ball can be in, and each of these phases is affected by how many times the ball is touched in the air. Now unfortunately, I don't know the exact amount of touches you have to make before it moves from one phase to the next, but we do know generally how much damage each phase does. So starting it off with the very first phase, this is of course the starting one where you pretty much just hit it off the ground once, it comes back down and only activates 1 tile. Now once you get the ball into the second phase, and this is where it starts to get a little more crazy, but once the ball is in this phase and it strikes a panel, it activates 7 of them. So essentially it activates the layer of tiles around the one that you hit, but it is still a pretty big area. However, once you get into the third phase, this one damages 19 freaking panels. Yes, once you hit a tile when it's in the third phase, it essentially affects 2 entire layers of tiles around the first one. So definitely a ton of damage, and I really want to know how many hits it actually takes to get it into this phase, and I imagine it would be a ton, but that is definitely pretty insane. But anyways, that is pretty much it for everything about the Dropshot game mode. It is honestly a little bit confusing, but once you know all of the rules, it does become fairly simple. Now moving on to the secret things that they put within the Dropshot trailer, and there's actually quite a few of these pertaining to the Season 3 rewards, different items within the Turbo Crate, but let's start it off here with the very first sort of secret thing that you see, but this right here is what I believe to be the Tachyon trail painted pink. Now I know what you're thinking, this trail looks a ton like Plasma or maybe the Ion one, but I directly compared this trail to both of those, and it is 100% 100% completely different. Now, I will say that this trail is really simple, especially for an import trail, but still, it is really cool that we can get it painted, and you can actually see it in a different color here, which I believe is lime. It might be forest green, but it does look really cool, and it is also on the brand new import car, the Endo, which also, if you look closely at it, you can see one of the new decals that it has, which is honestly pretty cool. It's not something that was shown to us in the update notes, and it does actually look really nice. But as for the Tachyon trail itself, it is admittedly a little bit unimpressive, but either way, it is going to be awesome to have it painted. As for another shot of the Endo, this again shows us another one of the decals that it comes with, which we don't get too good of a look at, but you do also get to see what I believe are the Season 3 Prospect wheels. They might be the Challenger ones. It's really quite blurry and hard to tell, but if those are the Prospect wheels, we actually get to see every single one of the Season 3 wheels in this trailer. So if we move on here to this X-Devil on the wall, you can actually see that it has the Season 3 Challenger wheels, which again, it's pretty hard to tell, but you can make out a little bit of the gold around the inside, so it is definitely the Challenger wheels. But as we move on to the next tier of wheels here with the Star wheels, these things start to look amazing in game. So you can clearly see them on the Breakout Type S. They're glowing blue with the treads, and of course the glowing ring around the inside, but they 100% look sick. However, they do not compare at all to the Champion wheels, which you can really get a good glimpse of here on the Dominus GT. So these things, I don't even really have to say anything. They look freaking amazing, and I really need to start grinding to get these wheels. I'm like 2 divisions away from Champion, and I can guarantee you, after seeing these wheels, I am definitely going to get them. Now, along with this, we also get a little glimpse of the Champion wheels on the Endo car in purple, and you know, they are really hard to see on this one, but they do still look really nice. But anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you are pumped for Season 3, the Turbo Crates, and this new game mode, be sure to leave a like down below because it only takes a second, and it definitely helps me out a ton. Also, guys, be sure to subscribe for more news on this update, as well as check out some of my previous videos, which should be popping up on the screen right now, including another video covering everything else in this update, as well as another episode of 5 secrets, glitches, and facts that you probably don't know about Rocket League. But other than that, guys, again, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm the Llamacer, and I will see you guys next time.